Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Magic the Gathering Arena. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. Today I have a strange brew for you. I call this deck Men of Ghar-Baaj. It's a reference to a joke that's older than I am, so it's a literal boomer joke. It's from a commercial in the 1970s anyway. So basically, you have all these little, kind of garbage creatures. Some of these 3/1s and stuff are things that people don't even pick up very highly in drafts sometimes. Some of these cards are good, like the Gala Greeters, the Cankerbloom, Outland Liberator, right? So there's just kind of a mix of stuff here, right? And it's full of 1-drops, and you see here that there's only 14 forests. The reason we can get away with this without it being a meme, right? I'm not trying to be a meme about the shuffler or anything. I'm being serious. We have 4 copies of Bushwhack, right? It can be a fight spell. It can also find forest. And this deck runs the entire game, if need be, on 2 lands. Quite well. And in addition to Bushwhack, there's also Thirsting Roots. Now, Thirsting Roots, it doesn't double as a fight spell. It's a proliferate effect. So ideally you would have some cards in your deck that you could use the proliferate side of this on to get some value out of. So with that in mind, running this 8 copies of Bushwhack, Thirsting Roots, right? It's a little bit like we have 22 forests in that regard. If we're willing to spend turn 1 finding a land, or, set up a 1-drop on turn 1, turn 2, find a land, set up another 1-drop, etc. So I happen to have a copy of Ascendant Packleader. It's a good 1-drop. We have no 4-drops in this deck. This will never get a counter on it. That's okay though. A 2/1 for 1 is what this deck wants. Audacity. This is another great 1-mana play for this deck, right? Keeps you aggressive, draws you into your next thing. And it's good for punching through damage where, you don't want the game to go late. Bushwhack is obviously good. People are main decking it in, all kinds of strange builds like the Obliterator deck. Phyrexian Obliterator. Citanul Stalwart. So this little guy, he can come down, he can make you mana, and this deck is very light on mana. So there's a chance you might need him in that capacity. Deathbonnet Sprout, this is one of the bigger all-stars of this deck in terms of making a threat that keeps growing as the game progresses. So if you get 2 of these out, they'll flip over very quickly. The creature count of this deck is 34. So pretty good odds to flip over the Sprouts. And then they can, start eating things from the opponent's graveyard. The Evolving Adaptives, these are not going to grow to enormous size, most of the time. I mean, you can actually proliferate them up a bit. Alright, so this is one of our proliferate targets here, is the Evolving Adaptive. It's a good one. Can pretty handily get this to a 3/3 just by playing creatures from out of the deck. Fang of Shigeki, Death Touch. Right, just a reasonable 1-drop here. Generous Visitor. So between the Fang of Shigeki and the Audacity, I think that's all the enchantments that are in the deck. Yeah. But just being a 1-drop that has the potential to put a counter or 2 out during the game is enough when you're being this aggressive. Thirsting Roots is part of the core idea of the deck here. Can proliferate counters from the Visitor. Iron Apprentice. This is another big target for the Thirsting Roots. Proliferate the counters on the Apprentice, and then when the Apprentice dies, those counters still go on to yet something else. Alright, then up at the 2-drops, we have kind of a bunch of junky 3/1s, right? So this is not a toxic deck, so this is just really a 3/1 here. Cankerbloom, it's 3/2, is a perfectly solid card. Good all the way around. Multiple ways to use it. very good for a green aggro deck. Good for, well, probably any green deck, really. Gala Greeters. This is another creature that can get +1 counters for the proliferation. It's one of the few threats in here that really builds up over time to keep getting bigger and bigger, like the Deathbonnet Sprout. So if you've got an opening where you've got Deathbonnet Sprout and Gala Greeters, then you've got more mid-game, you know, maybe even late-game potential than the deck would normally ever have. Very often the first thing you'll want to make with the Gala Greeters is a treasure token, just so you can speed onto the board quickly. You could put the counter on just to, you know, put on the pressure aggro-wise too. Sentry, another junky 3/1, hard to block sometimes. Not too hard to get Coven in this deck. Outland Liberator. So kind of the earlier cousin of Cankerbloom, does not proliferate, is not a 3/2 on the front side. On the back side's even better than the Cankerbloom, except for the proliferating. Whenever it attacks, you destroy an artifact or enchantment when it's nighttime. This deck will probably never get to nighttime, but if it did, it's just generally still useful. Riveteers Decoy, mostly just a 3/1 in this deck. If you ever did happen to get to 4 mana, and you were having trouble closing out the game, this could come down, blitz in, you know, eat up a blocker. It doesn't say it has to be blocked by everything of Fable, just that something has to block it, and it would come in with haste. And then it would draw you a card. So it's not like an auto-include or anything, but it might be better than some of these other 3/1s. I just kind of gathered up whatever I had in my collection, really. I only crafted a handful of cards for this deck. And Tomakul Honor Guard, Ward 2, Junkie 3/1. So, let's take this deck out into the field, play some green aggro. I'll do a post-game wrap after. Up against Rose Raven. Okay, no lands. That's to be expected sometimes. Now, can keep 1 landers. Under no circumstance can we keep 0 landers. Yeah, this'll do. 6, yeah, I'll put back the Honor Guard. Probably lead on to the Doubt. Evolving Wilds for what? Plains. Oh, Forest. That's cool. Evolving Doubt. Okay, so... oh, green-white? Interesting. Keeping your mana open. Oh, Gala Greeters. Gala Greeters is so good to get down early. Okay, give away nothing. Go ahead and attack here. Alright, just go ahead and play the Greeters. If they don't kill the Greeters, then this can hit a lot of triggers quickly because of how many low drops the deck has. Okay, scoop it up. I don't know what they were doing. Okay. Yeah, this is a keeper. Never really want the opponent to go first when you're aggro, but luck of the draw. Up against Nelson. I think I will lead on the Sprout. Turn 2, if I don't draw the land, I'll Bushwhack for it. March of Wretched Sorrow. Interesting. Oh, there's the land. Alright. Might as well be offensive here, and against control deck, some of the board might give them defense. I'm gonna try it. See, it's far from the best card in this deck. It's probably one of the worst. But If they're doing targeted removal, then this might be a pain in the butt. Alright, here we go. Another land. It's starting to scare me a little bit. Those lands are coming too easy. So I guess I probably do want to keep them off of card advantage, right? If they are indeed very close control, maybe they can run out of cards. That would be nice. Buster, and left open the mana to draw with it. I'll go ahead and come in here. Play this Liberator. Yep, I'll give you the one card for your Bank Buster this time. Would you like to deal with my Honor Guard? Okay. Oh, another forest. That's getting to be too many. That is too many. Alright. Well, they might have a sweeper, but I got the mana. Now is the time to be under pressure. So let's see if they can clear the board. I don't have double white yet. I think there might be kind of a budget version, all the basics they're running. Which, I mean, I can respect that. I just think if you run a lot of basics, you need to run some common cards, like maybe Ecologist Terrarium, so that you can make sure that you hit your lands on time, hit your colors. Okay, so they did a march on the poison critter. Maybe not realizing that's the less dangerous one for this deck. I mean, okay, in a fishbowl scenario, where the creature is just uncontested, right, and I didn't have any other attackers, it could potentially be faster as a poison clock on its own. But let's maybe kill this one too. Nope. Okay. I'll play the Sprout. Nothing else yet. Keep going. You got it. Play this Liberator. Can liberate my Cankerbloom at the end of their turn. Going for the Hulk. Okay, sure. Let's just get rid of the buttons. That sounds pretty good to me. The Sprout is one of the most dangerous things in this deck anyway. Oh, I've got the mana, I can blitz him. So it's possible there's some other sequence with those ley lines I could have done where I could have done more damage to the opponent. But I've been cautious about them having instant speed, removal, and interactions.
My next breakthrough is close.
Artifact. Alright. Yeah, one card's probably a good one, though. Let's see if they have a single creature in their entire graveyard. I don't think they do. Alright. Going to my graveyard, then. I'll just take whatever. Okay. Make them have it. Jump block. Okay. Jump block. Gala Greeters. Play the Stalwart. Go for the +1. Bushwhack doesn't hit planeswalkers, right? No, it does not. Okay. If my opponent gains a lot of life, I might consider using the Proliferate on Thirsting Roots. They're digging.
This is power.
I mean, that is a lot of digging they're doing. Yeah, let's give it up. Alright. Up against Judop. I'll keep this. Let's see, lead on Adaptive, I think. I guess I'll go max upside here. Sure. Has to be a non-creature, though. They took the Thirsting Roots. Interesting. Okay. Harvesttide Sentry. Alright, they're at 12. I've got 9 power on the board. Yep, they're all done. Up against Kitty Kate. Yep, looks like a keeper. Yep, adaptive. I think it's Greeters on 2 whenever you're able. In fact, Greeters on 2 might convince this red deck that they need to kill it instead of play a creature. Spear. Anger, they're not killing the Gala Greeters. That's pretty questionable. Pretty questionable. Alright. So, could go with a pair of 1-drops. Oh, Visitor Shigeki, that's pretty good. Yeah. Alright. So, go ahead and get a counter here. Go ahead and use Fang. I'll put a counter, I don't know, here. Then I will... Sure, gain 2 life. It's kind of the matchup for it, right? Normally I'd probably make mana there. But, I couldn't quite get the Gala Greeters out of burn range. So, just went ahead and took the life now. And it's definitely not as good for a red deck to have to burn out a tapped creature. Let's see, I've got no more enchantments. Take the block. They probably weren't expecting that. burn some things out here. Sometimes these decks run effects that deal 1 damage to all the opponent's stuff. I'll play the Liberator here. We'll still grow the Adaptive. And still grow the Greeters. And, two can come in. If you're trying to sequence things to grow the Adaptive, sometimes you want to play the Liberator, right? It's 2 on both, so you can't grow it later. There's a number of these other things can grow it later, like this 3-1. Okay, so they were forced to respect the Gala Greeters. Do not carry, damage. Okay. So... I think I got down something for 3 power this time. Might as well get Cankerbloom. And you 2 can get in. Mountains. Lightning strike in the face. Takes me to 6. No blocks. Alright, so Bushwhack, Flame Breather, and come in for all. Yep. Up against Pickles. I wonder if they're sweet or dill. Alright. Keep it. Definitely the Sprout for turn 1. Curtains! Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and play this one right here. Okay. I think I'd go ahead and get a land here. I don't think there's any strong reason not to. It'll probably make me discard the Bushwhack, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, just throw the 3 power feather out there. No strong reason to attack in there. Seems like they're not looking at the curtains here.
I have arrived. It's not a victory without you.
Let's see, they get a Scrap Gorger. And I think they can use the mana from the Scrap Gorger because of Tyvar's ability. You can also untap things. So if he's able to, he could make their Scrap Gorger activate twice. So let's see. Stalker is blocked by curtains. Liberator's blocked by Scrap Gorger. So... But if I make that attack, I could Bushwhack something. Yeah, sure. like that? Yep, that's the way. There you go. I think it's more important to kill the Scrap Gorger here. So, Stalker, kill that Scrap Gorger. Get this visitor on the table. And Sego. I don't need any more lands. So this Thirsting Roots is strictly for proliferating at this point. Mabel. Could choose to blow that up here. They're attacking. Oh, they're gonna tap them. Okay, okay. Makes much more sense. Sorcery speed to kill something, though. Have to choose now. Not doing it. Okay. I've got plenty of mana. I can choose on my turn. If I want the Liberator to kill their Fable. No enchantments for the Visitor. They probably do want to block with their Harvester when the Hulk comes in, so maybe I don't give them that option. Maybe I don't. Maybe instead, apply some pressure like this. Fearlessly take that block after my fight play. Okay. Here's an adaptive. I'll decide later if I want to proliferate onto him. They might make me draw a new card, which would be fine. That would be fine. Ooh, Gix's command. Oh, that's bad. Okay. That's very bad, very bad. Outland's not the best either. Not something I really want to see. Yep, bye.
Really?
Okay, let him go. Get back to Harvester. So, you do know if there's a creature in the Scrap Gorger. I think I take the Scrap Gorger here. Let's see. No real use for the cards in my hand. Go ahead and do the proliferate now. Got a counter on the Hulk. Yeah, I gotta close this game out at some point. Yeah. They probably have another one. That's probably why they make that block. But from my perspective, Filling a Shoulder is a pretty good thing. It's a card I have trouble dealing with. There's a
Today we carve our deeds into history. Share in my glory.
I guess they really don't like the Sprout because he eats their graveyard. That's kind of what their deck is about. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll be done here. Okay, up against Grow-Getter. Oh no. Oh no, this is a bad hand. Okay, this is a keeper. Let's see, I don't need this many search effects. Put one back. I mean, this hand's not great, but that first one was awful. Alright, so lead on Fang. Can find a land in Audacity next turn if I don't get a forest. Use the Thirsting Roots to do that. The Bushwhack is usually the more valuable card, unless you just happen to have a lot of things with counters on the field. Thirsting Roots, if you have the option, is the one you use first to fetch up a forest. Underdog. They're not willing to attack there. Okay. Roots. Give me a forest. Yep. And here's an Audacity. And let's see, do I want to erase them from this position? I don't think I do. Alright, draw a card. We actually used a real kill spell there, a 2-mana kill spell. Alright, coming in. Okay, so I do have use for 3 mana, so I'm gonna do this. Go ahead and find another forest. Get my land drop for the turn. I don't need more than 3, for sure. They'll probably kill this Gala Greeters. If they don't, I can put us back into this game. Catch us back up. Yep, you can do that. No blocks. Dust Shadow. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Alright, need to go wide here, need to not gain life. So, here's an Iron Apprentice. Go with a +1 counter. Honor Guard. This one will do the Treasure Tower. No attacks. Okay. So, let's see here. The Knight can pump a bit. But I can definitely kill the underdog and definitely stop the sleeper. I think that's the smarter block here. Not really able to get blown out by a removal spell either. Doesn't matter if they pump the sleeper. Hurts a little bit if they pump the Knight. Gala Greeters is 3/3. What you got? Another underdog. Okay. So this turn we got double Cankerbloom. Another counter. And because they have the Knight of Dust's Shadow, they gain life right now, another treasure token. And well, I guess this is actually a good opportunity to kill the Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Perhaps I should have gained life this turn for that reason instead. But here we are. Okay, Grow-Getter. What you doing? They must have been thinking very hard about blitzing that underdog. Yeah, Cankerbloom here, no block on the sleeper. Need a little bit of luck, basically, in order to win from this position. So I'm going to try to play towards being lucky here. And it would require a lot of luck. They definitely got out of the gate. Okay. So they take the card, they take the 1-point pump. Have a swamp. Play a knight. Pretty nasty. Another counter. No tax. I mean, just about any card will kill me now. I wasn't expecting them to have the second knight. I guess it shouldn't be too surprising. Everyone loves to run 4-of copies of cards in their decks. I think Knight of Dusk's Shadow is better as like a 1 or 2 of, right? Because once you've got one on the battlefield, the second one, you can only pump one of them with the mana you have available, right? So the second copy doesn't do as much work once it's on the battlefield. I still don't think running 2 in a deck is too extreme, though. Alright, Tenacious Underdog. I believe they have the win here because of Menace. Not anymore. They could have won the game here, but they chose not to. So, very well. Not sure why they played it that way. Okay, yeah, nothing for the Cankerbloom to blow up. Oh, it can proliferate, though. Oh, it can proliferate! Ah! Oh, well, that had to be a creature in order to gain us life at that point. I think I'll go ahead and show this video, though. Why not? Sure, take your block. Sure, take your 8. Okay, we're all done here. Alright, post-game wrap on the Men of Ghar-Baaj. The joke from the old commercial is, women in Ghar-Baaj are always at your disposal. It's from the 70s. It's before I was born. It's a joke from my parents. Anyway. So, keeping it at this budget end, I think you'll steal some games just like any aggro deck does. You might want a little bit more reach. Maybe like the pump spell, you know, that gives plus X plus O, makes something hex-proof and indestructible. You might want a copy of that in here. You don't have a lot of mana to spare, though. Or some other tricks, some other 1 or 2 combat tricks, maybe. Not a lot. Still want to have a high density of creatures for things like the Deathbonnet Sprout. You could replace some cards for sure. I think the Stalwarts could easily go up to 4 here. I think the Stalwarts make the deck run more smoothly. I think if you keep the low land count, you definitely keep the Bushwhacks and the Thirsting Roots. The Packleaders they're alright. I don't think they're actually that necessary here. Because you never trigger their special abilities. If you ended up with more enchantments, the Visitor might do some work. 2 more Gala Greeters would definitely make this deck tick. It's one of the stronger cards. And, you know, you can probably figure out what to cut from there. Some other strong rares you could consider. Kami of Transience is obviously good if your enchantment count gets higher. Possibly I should have run it even in this version of the deck that has very few enchantments. But I wanted to see how the 3 power 2-drops would do. Willowgeist is a pretty reasonable card for this particular deck because of the Deathbonnet Sprout. And you could take the theme further. Don't go out of your way to craft this one, though. Kyrion Beastcaller is the main thing to consider crafting for a deck like this. This would be an incredibly strong include for this kind of aggro deck. I may have to, you know, get on my main account at some point. I think I have some copies of the Beastcaller. Maybe I could make a not budget version. Another direction you could take the deck in. So if you're going to run 4 Citanul Stalwart, and if you're going to run 4 Gala Greeters, those are elves. And at that point, you could start to think about Leaf Crowned Visionary. Again, do not go out of your way to craft this card. But if you start to have a, you know, critical mass of elves that build up, there's some budget elves you can run too. Llanowar Stalker. So this one would be great probably for this deck even without the rare. Should maybe try crafting it for this brew. I think it would probably do even better work than some of the things I played around with. I know Attended Socialite kind of looks like junk, but in this particular deck, if you really go with the elf theme, and you really thin out some of the non-creatures, this could be very powerful here as well. Might be another reason to run the rare. And finally, you could think about Urborg Lurgoyf. You know, not trying to pay the blue or black kicker, just if you took the deck more in the direction of Deathbonnet Sprout and the Willowgeist, then you could also start to look at the Urborg Lurgoyf a little bit. But I think maybe the elf package of cards would be some of the strongest. And also just doing Gala Greeters and Kyrion Beastcaller would make this deck tick much better. Anyway, I may revisit this deck again in the future, but this has been my garbage deck run for you. It had kind of a so-so play on the ladder, but sometimes it runs away with the game, and the games are pretty fast. Anyway, until next time, stay cool.